Hey y'all, it's your girl Stephanie, and this is Wrestling Color Podcast. I'm coming to you with a little, I guess, a bonus before everything kickstart over here at my crib. Everyone's going back to school. I got a lot of shit going on, so these are going to be more sporadic in nature. But I couldn't pass this, right? Because what would the internet world be without King Booka, right? King Booka has something to say about everything, every goddamn thing. And sometimes he's right. But most of the time he's wrong and out of touch and a good old boy and trying to keep his little spot on the pay-per-views and his little show and, all of that old shit. So right now the internet community is riled up about King Booka's take on the return of CM Punk to AEW this past Friday on Rampage. Now, before I dive in, make sure you thumbs up the video. Make sure you subscribe to all my social media, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, and make sure you comment. And did I say subscribe? Because it's free. Like, what you waiting on? Just hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Okay? Because if you made it this far, great. You should make it further. The hell. Anyway, back to King Booka. So I was looking for the podcast. Apparently, King Booka took it down. He took that part of the podcast down. Like, he was like, nah, y'all not about to be. But that same podcast, he had a hot take on Bianca Belair and her ridiculous ass loss to Becky Lynch. The same hot take that Nikki Bella had to say. And before we dive into the CM Punk debacle, can y'all stop bringing up Nikki Bella and what she so-called did to AJ? First of fucking all, the difference between that is not only was AJ really distracted because Brie had the belt that Nikki, I believe Nikki was, Brie had the belt. Then she kissed fucking AJ Lee, confused her, so when she turned around, she then got rack attacked and all that and lost. Okay, that's called a distraction. Someone putting their hand out, snatching you close, punching you in the face, and giving you a fucking rock bottom ain't a distraction, especially when you call yourself the EST. So let's stop, okay? Please, apples and motherfucking oranges and mangoes on that, okay? No. Now, so King Booka, and this is what he wanted to say. And I'm going to tell you why I'm confused, because this ain't going to be long. I got shit to do. So, not only did he say he didn't like CM Punk coming on back, but he also said he didn't like that Darby Allin was chosen. Okay? He believes the dynamic in the ring will be different if two baby faces work against each other. So he felt he should have had a heel because CM Punk is coming in as a baby face. And he said, I want to see it because I know Darby Allin. He's non-stop, as well as a baby face. Baby face match? For me, I'd pick the heel. And he goes on to say, when you're working from a heel babyface perspective, as far as I'm concerned, the heel doesn't have to be as fast. He just has to keep up, As long as I'm able to keep up, I'll be okay. But when you're working babyface, both of you guys have to be all out all the time. The pay-per-view is called All Out, I believe, isn't it? Okay. Listen, this isn't WWE. You don't have to have a babyface face a heel. You don't have to have a heel face a babyface. You can have two heels in the ring fucking each other up. That would be fun to watch. When you're working matches like that, it's going to test you, the cardio. Especially when it gets to 15, 10, 20 minutes, gets close to 30 minutes, it's going to weigh on you because you got to move, The guy he chosen wouldn't be the guy I would have right off the bat, you know what I mean? He went on to dive into his thoughts of CM Punk's promo. Now, me personally, I thought the promo was fine. I think when he sat cross-legged, you already knew he was going in. He had grace. He commanded the audience. He said what he needed to say, moved into the program, and kept it going. I actually thought it wasn't going to be no wrestling the way y'all was yelling for about a good 15 minutes. So here's what Booka T said that set the wrestling world on fire, and most people told him to shut the hell up. And then some of y'all was like, you right. And I'm going to tell y'all why he wrong. And he contradicting himself. And honestly, Booker T's hot takes just ain't gonna do it for me. Because if he ain't talking about Leo Rush and his incident, if he ain't got something to say about goddamn, what's his name? Old boy in the t-shirt. Oh man, black dude left. Had said t-shirt was blackface. Whatever. I said AEH, I think his name is. Y'all tell me in the comments. You know what I'm talking about. If he ain't having no fucked up hot take about that, or when people ask him about that terrible racist ass promo and he got buried at the goddamn wrestling show when he was up against Triple H and getting called nappy heads and all that, he didn't want to dive into that. Oh, it wasn't no big deal. You know I'm here for the money. If he wasn't telling the Revival when they was leaving WWE, I stay for the money. You know, I stay for the money. It's just like stop. I don't know what the fuck happened to Harlem Heat Booker T, but this Booker T here, listen, your kids are gonna have some wealth. You gonna leave them some shit. But I guarantee you, if your daughter or your son went in the wrestling and got fucked over, I'm pretty sure you want them to tell their story. But then you might be like, don't you go out there and be talking bad about your old job. So here we go. Booker T said, and I quote, CM Punk is back, man, and I got a chance to witness the return of CM Punk. I really did. I don't know, you guys out there are big AEW fans. You guys agree to disagree with me, but I'm always telling it like it is, you know. And I'm going to tell it like it is on this one right here as well. I want all of the listeners, I need you guys to challenge me on this. I'm begging you, challenge me on what I'm talking about. Well, here I am. I'm about to challenge you, King Booka. I'm going to challenge you, baby. CM Punk came back, and he had 10 full television minutes to go out there and make his point as far as CM Punk being back. He had the perfect crowd to be able to go out there and really, I'm talking about have a party in the United Center. But CM Punk came back and took this moment and chose to talk about the WWE. That right there was just a total miss as far as I'm concerned. He struck out. I can only imagine if The Rock had that same 21,000 in Miami, Florida. The Rock would have talked about every landmark in Miami and that everybody in Miami frequented. He would have had those fans going crazy with excitement. But CM Punk, he chose to talk about the WWE, and that 9 minutes went by so slow when it could have been a party going on in the United Center. But his co-host, Brian Gilmore, said he agreed Punk's promo was lackluster, but the moment was big. Well, Booker T continued to say, I'm saying from a perspective to where I'm making my comeback and I'm thinking about the other side. That's totally a place that I wouldn't even be going. As well as you talk about how the moment started out on a rise, and after the music stopped playing, the rise just started going down and it never came back up. That's a moment for you? I get it, I understand, but my point is the moment. Once the bell rings, and the bell rings after the music stops, as far as I'm concerned, and I just don't think CM Punk delivered the way he could have as far as a promo goes, because I feel he didn't. I felt like a guy talking about WWE, and when you're talking about the other side, only thing you're doing is giving those guys airtime. Of course, I know the AEW crowd will eat that up, but for me as a professional, the last thing I'm going to be thinking about is the other side. I'm going to be thinking about here and now. Like I said, I would be wrong, but I just think he missed a moment there in front of his hometown with over 20,000 people. So, in response to someone in the chat room that said he is not biased because is he biased because of his affiliation with WWE? Booker T said, for me, it was the same promo that was given in the WWE. It was about the WWE. It had nothing meaningful to it as far as what I'm going to create, who I'm going to blow up, how I'm going to take AEW by coming in, being a nice guy, and throwing out frequent ice cream balls. Who gives a damn about that? After the commercial break, Booker T acknowledged the listeners in the chat were not happy with what he said, and Booker added that he likes CM Punk and he's not saying that he doesn't bring anything to the table. Booker also said that he wants Punk to do well in life, but feels that Punk could have made a bigger impact if he didn't talk about WWE and ice cream bars. Booker T said Darby Allin is a babyface. I already told you. Now, let me tell you something real quick. Why Booker T crazy? Because first of all, Punk did not mention WWE at all. What CM Punk did was allude. When you allude to something, you say something without saying so many words, and most people know what's going on because we, watch CM Punk in the WWE. This man said he left a wrestling promotion in 2005. He stopped professionally wrestling. When he returned in August of 2021, he re-entered professional wrestling. That's all he said. He also said where he was prior to coming back to Chicago and getting back in the ring, he was sick. It was a sick place to be. It made him sick physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And he would never want to deal with that again. That's what the fuck he said. It was an alluding to a previous situation. He did not sit in the ring and say, WWE did me how they did me, y'all. And everybody's like, fuck WWE. None of that. He gave y'all the reason why he's there. He recapped where he came from in a low undertone sort of way, and moved into Darby Allin and Sting. That was fucking it. I don't know what Booker T heard. I don't know what Booker T was watching, but he wasn't watching CM Punk's promo. If he heard, you gonna talk about the WWE. Now, when CM Punk did the pipe bomb, he was very clear, concise, and direct when he was telling John Cena and everybody in that room that they were a bunch of fucking idiots and that company's going to be a piece of shit in the next 10 years. And he was right. Now, what I find it real funny about Booker T, how come Booker T didn't have nothing to say about John Cena when he alluded to CM Punk the day before SummerSlam? Did CM Punk not say, did John Cena not say, I blow you a kiss when I win that belt? Who he was talking about? Oh, okay, I guess that's okay. Now, here's the thing. Bianca Belair, I just told you he agreed that was a bunch of bullshit. Nikki Bella said it was a bunch of bullshit. We all pretty much is in the consensus that this is a bunch of bullshit. How it's going to go forth, I don't know, because I'm completely turned off with the whole shit. But I'm going to tell you this. When Bianca Belair is 42 years old, and wherever she's at, because she's still going to want to wrestle, if she don't pause to go have kids like Becky Lynch, but never mind that. When they say, what was the most pivotal moment in your wrestling career with WWE or as a WWE superstar? If you think she ain't gonna bring up that shit at SummerSlam and how everybody took it, you got another fucking thing coming. If Bianca Belair leaves WWE in 10 years and she goes to AEW, Impact, New Japan, I don't fucking know, and she comes in, gets a big pop, everybody's like, oh, Bianca Belair, woo, woo. And she says, hey everybody, I wanted to come here to wrestle because the other place I was sucked and I ain't like it, and everybody move the fuck on. That's it. You mean to tell me she can't talk about her previous employer? That for real? I remember there's always one thing, and I always reference it, when Dean Ambrose left and went to AEW as Jon Moxley, and he did his promos for that about 2-3 weeks. He did a bunch of promos. Everybody wanted to know. He was very graceful. I don't think he trashed WWE, but he was being honest. He said WWE and Vince McMahon has a way of making you hate what you love and taking something from you to punish you. CM Punk alluded to WWE taking away something he loves and making him hate the profession that he loves to do. I'm going to say this, I'm going to get on off. Y'all cannot tell people how to tell their fucking story. Booka T, I watched your chronicle or your documentary, and I think you even had one on A&E. I watched it. Now, one time did I say Booka T shouldn't say that? Booka T shouldn't say that. Booka T shouldn't have did that. Why he talking about his brother like that? Booka T should have did that. Nope, I shut the fuck up and let you tell your story. Because what the fuck I know? I don't know your story. You went in there when he had the dude shitting on himself. Ryback dropped him on his neck. He had a fucking bulge in his disc. Got fired on his wedding day. Couldn't main event because people had a problem with him. Had everybody eating at the palm of his hand, and he couldn't be the star that he said he felt he was and what he was. You weren't living that, Booka T. You can't tell that man how to conduct himself. That's a grown motherfucking man. When you got inducted into the Hall of Fame, everybody sat there and listened to your damn speech. Ain't nobody told you, well, Booka T should shut up because he shouldn't tell. You can't tell nobody their experience in life. Y'all need to stop doing that shit. Because it ain't just wrestling. Y'all do that for every fucking thing. Whether it's somebody who's been victimized, whether it's somebody who's been accused. What's his name? When RK Bro accused of fucking sexual misconduct, he told his side the damn story. You either gonna believe it or you ain't. Didn't we just have a whole speak out movement? What you told them women? Oh, y'all need to shut up because that happened years ago. Come on. Come on. I watched that Brian Pillman episode on Vice. I still ain't got over the way they conducted with that man. And Brian Pillman's son is right there in AEW, splitting image of his father. And you watch that Vice and be disgusted at how they had that man's wife on TV after he died. Didn't have no fucking money. So you mean to tell me when Owen Hart died and his wife is around is the only one to hold the torch for her husband? You mean to tell me you gonna tell that woman she can't tell her story? The fuck out of here, Booka T. Cut the shit. Because if it was your kids and they grow up and get kicked in the ass and they want to come and tell their story, I guarantee you're going to say, don't you talk about. They're going to tell their story. Everybody got a story. I got a goddamn story. Everybody got history. That's why we got an issue now. Can't even teach history in fucking school because don't nobody want to tell the story right. Come on. You either right or you wrong. You wrong here, Booka T. And because you was wrong, it overpowered when you was right with Bianca Belair. Come on. Do better, Booka. Do better. This is Wrestling Color Podcast. I'm going to leave it right here. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. And I'm going to catch y'all later. Deuces.